It's like a chain reaction. You're feeding those millions of people, and imagine those millions of people when they know what kind of happiness they've gotten because of this program, they are going to do the same thing in the next generation.
It takes a village to raise a child, but an educated, successful child can take care of a village. We're doing a stopgap meal quality delivery because the assumption is that the kids that are coming to these schools are not well served at home. We are trying to make this model in a box available to anybody in any part of the world. We have served 4 billion meals, since starting, and guess what? This year we will reach 5th billion meal.
Hi, hello, welcome to Coffee Kaburlu. In Mahabharata, Akshayapatra was given by Lord Surya to Yudhishthira to provide unlimited meals to Pandavas. The word Akshayapatra itself means a pot of limitless food. The NGO Akshayapatra runs on a mission to provide limitless food to every government school going kid so that they can have good health and they can only focus on their education.
Have you ever noticed that when you like the taste of a dish, you feel like eating more? Likewise, when you like the taste of giving, you would like to give more because of the happiness you get out of it. Today, we are very fortunate to have the US CEO of Akshayapatra, Navin Goel with us on Coffee Kaburlu. So let's jump into a conversation with Navin Garu to know more about his journey with Akshayapatra, his association with Akshayapatra, and how can we all chip in to this great mission. Welcome Navin Garu, welcome to Coffee Kaburlu. As I said, we are very fortunate to have you today in our show. We are blessed to meet some people in our lives, and people like you will make us feel that more and more. So thank you for coming over.
It's my pleasure, Maitri and Sufirita, that you guys are doing this great work, and I'm fortunate that somehow we connected, and here we are.
Yes, we believe every connection has a reason. So yeah, today the connection is with you.
Absolutely, there is no coincidence in life.
Yes, let's begin.
Yeah.
So we did a bit of research before coming to you and talking to you. So you did like IIT Kanpur and then MS here in US. So that looks like most of our journey in US, like how it begins. And now you landed with Akshayapatra, which serves like millions of kids.
Yes.
So how did this happen?
There's nothing unusual about it. I'll give a very straightforward answer. Just like all people growing up, I grew up in Rourkela and went to IIT Kanpur, did computer science, came to the US, did a master's, moved to Dayton, Ohio, and stayed there for 38 years.
Wow.
And I'm still living there.
Oh.
And took a first job in the IT consulting world, and the rest is irrelevant. I spent all those years doing work in various different capacities, from leading businesses to supporting clients to doing technology and things like that. But that's all the past. What happened is, as a sort of a believer in the Vedic system of compartmentalizing the age, 25 years for learning, I followed that. 25 years to take care of the family, I followed that. And then when I turned 50, I realized that there's a lot more to be done. And this is not the only facet in which you can continue to consume yourself. And then, lo and behold, somebody gave me an opportunity to say, hey, Navin, you've been taking care of 2 children. What about adopting 2 million more?
Wow.
And I never looked back, and I said, yep, sounds good. And I took on Akshayapatra about 3 years ago, and I've had the joy and the satisfaction like nothing before to simply serve these kids. And this transition came very naturally, and it was instantaneous. So I'm sorry, there's nothing fancy to tell you, but there is one piece in this transition that is something I would definitely share. There is the backdrop of my wife. My wife is a Brahma Kumari, and she took her vows to be a Brahma Kumari 30 years ago when my daughter was born. And I always wanted to do things which were compatible to her lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And I find this karmic way of giving back and taking care of these kids makes me at least respectable in the eyes of my own wife.
Wow, this sounds really interesting because people, even till date, they hesitate to praise their wives in front of anybody. They might praise them indoors, within four walls, but coming out and saying that, I want to prove myself in front of my wife. This is something that I've ever heard in my life for the first time. So that's why.
But this is the driving force that in my life I could have just continued doing the making the money, doing the job and the organizational dynamics and things like that, but it was going nowhere because she had more than a leader or more than a guru's influence on me.
So she is the driving force.
Yeah, she is, and that's why I'm here.
Awesome, very good, very nice.
So Navin Garu, when we heard about Akshayapatra, I felt that everything about Akshayapatra is fulfilling and it's gratifying. But according to you, what is one aspect, if I may ask you, what is one aspect that satisfies you the most?
So, as you said, the Akshayapatra work is quite satisfying. It clearly is work that is transformational in social development. The kids that benefit from this program clearly have shown considerable performance improvement. But I think the one thing that intrigues me and has made me more perhaps moved by this work is that we're literally putting saplings which are producing 2 million adults into the society, which will be consumers of tomorrow and the workforce for tomorrow. And for global growth and for harmony, this is very essential. And I may not be around to see all of the implications of it, but that's the satisfying piece of work of Akshayapatra.
That is beautifully said. Yeah, even the trees that we grow today, we may not see the fruits of it, but we still do it for our further generations to come.
Yeah.
And I think, the Akshayapatras of the world, by making these people educated, by making these kids educated, which hunger is an impediment to.
Of course.
So while we talk a lot about our kitchens, our food, our tasty food, the smile on the child's face, but the real social transformation is that the denizens who are coming out of the government schools in India will be ready for true global support and success, and hopefully bring peace as well.
And it's like a chain reaction. You're feeding those millions of people, and imagine those millions of people, when they know what kind of happiness they've gotten because of this program, they are going to do the same thing in the next generation.
I say it like this, that it takes a village to raise a child, but an educated, successful child can take care of a village.
Village, yes.
So it's a multiplier.
So true.
And we see these examples, the other day, like for instance, we were at Western Digital one time last year, and a girl walked up to us and said, "Hey, you know what? I actually had the food from Akshayapatra, and now I am an employee of Western Digital." So, there are kids in America today who are our beneficiaries in that sense, and that's incredible satisfaction.
Navin Garu, whether it is the corporate sector or an NGO, having a good leader really makes a difference. That's what we believe. So, in your work, in your career, your leadership qualities, do you think they helped being CEO of US Akshayapatra?
I would say it a little differently. I mean, of course, everybody wants good leaders, whether you're having a regular business or whether you're, working on an NGO, right? But I think the real crux is the brain versus the heart. So, for instance, a lot of my work that I did as a leader in the IT space was driven by the brain side of it. Today, it's from their heart. And the skills are quite portable because after all, you still have to take care of the donors versus the clients. You have to take care of employees versus colleagues. You have to still take care of organizations, and you need to work the channels. Like, for instance, the portability of leadership is still there. So, in a nutshell, what I would say is that the big change or transformation that occurred was that the values that you chase, the way you go about it, the tolerance that you have, and the fact that you truly become more Eastern minded than Western. Those would be the things I would say.
To add more to this question, what do you think, which is more challenging, following your brain or heart?
I think neither. It's just knowing when you have to move. And it's a transition point in your life. And given that, I embarked on this journey, it was quite easy to move. And the skills, I think, are easier to change in some sense. So the sanskars probably are hard. Habits die a little hard, as they say. But I think overall, it was not a challenge to evolve. But I would say, from a big macro point of view, the general speed, the expectation, the motivation drive is very different in the NGO world versus the corporate world. There, it can all be rationalized to profit. And here, you can't rationalize it to any single thing. And people come from different ways. Some are driven by the cause, some are driven by the fact that they can have an easy life, some are driven by the fact that, I'm doing God's work, and therefore whatever I do is correct. So you have to grapple with those kinds of things.
So far, whoever is part of Akshayapatra, they are all owning it and they are doing a great job. But this should go on forever. So how do you motivate younger generations, next generations, to be part of Akshayapatra, part of giving?
This is a tough one. Two-part answer. One is, of course, we hope and pray that in the next 20 years, the purpose behind a need for an Akshayapatra is obviated. Because think about it, what are we doing? We're doing a stopgap meal quality delivery because the assumption is that the kids that are coming to these schools are not well served at home. Hopefully, if that itself has taken care of, they don't need an Akshayapatra, right? So that's one part.
Yes, fingers crossed. Actually.
Yes, exactly. So if we get obviated, will be the celebration, right? But the flip side is that motivating young people, okay, there is two part. If you look at the philanthropy, it's a tough problem because especially I'll talk in terms of the US. In the US, typical donors are, between, I give you my demographic, it's about 60, 65-year-old family. And there is, of course, obvious reasons for it because, it's the third quadrant or second quadrant of their lives, yeah, or fourth, whatever. So, how do you attract the youngsters? We have a lot of programs in Akshayapatra, like we have a youth ambassador program, we have young professional program, and the young are actually quite passionate and quite talented, unlike the senior guys. They can do a lot, they can break mountains. And, in general, if you look at it, they are more liberal. They care for their heart and their causes more than their wallet. While, the middle-aged fellows are, more driven by economics. So all of those ingredients are there for the youngsters, but to connect them to a cause like Akshayapatra has 2 or 3 challenges that we face. One is, if these youngsters are born in America, they have enough causes to challenge them right here in the American context. So to them, the child in India sitting under a palm tree or something and doing schooling is quite far, quite remote. So that's one impediment for it. But to give you the solutions are, we try to have some of these kids at the age of 10 and 12 partake with their parents who want the good sanskars in them to go see a kitchen, go see a school in India, because when they see the child just like them going through a school in India, that's when the connection is built. And that's how we inspire them, that's how we motivate them. And there are a lot of kids now who are doing the Akshayapatra bidding and work, and they are very committed to it.
So, in the same lines, I would like to ask you another question. So, something that has started just like a school lunch program has expanded to millions of meals, state of art kitchen, and you have talent schools, so many other programs. So, what is the future plan of Akshay Patra? What is your vision?
It's fairly straightforward, and I'll put it like this: we think of this as seva, and we have reached without visualizing that we will be here in 24 years. It started with 1,500 kids in a school, and today we are in literally 17 states, 77 kitchens, 25,000 schools, and so on and so forth. But where are we headed? We clearly have 300 million kids in the world who need this assistance. We clearly do not have any desire or ability, or look at it this way, we have the hubris to know we will never be able to serve 300 million kids. So what we are trying to do is fourfold approach. One, we are trying to make part of the world. So for instance, somebody from Kenya, somebody from Dominican Republic, they're coming to us in Sri Lanka, in Nepal, they'll replicate Akshay Patra themselves. And that's the way we get the word out and bring our learnings out. The other way we are trying to do is strategically that hold the line but improve the overall quality of meal by adding breakfast, adding more ingredients to the meal. And the third, but not the least, is ancillary things. So what we believe is that, the earlier you take care of a child, the better off you are. And if you look at all social development, they'll say the dollar goes the farthest if you take care of prenatal care at the mother's level, even before the child is born, and that's when it multiplies, right? Rather than taking care of feeding a guy who's 75 years old. Societal return on investment is nothing. So we have also started expanding to Anganwadis, which is again a government program, just like the midday meal program. These are all government programs, but we can do it better, and we can complement it over and beyond the budgeted line items of the government. That's our future.
Navin Garu, many would be interested to be part of Akshay Patra, but their availability, their interests, they might vary. So, is there any specific volunteering program designed for Akshay Patra?
Firstly, this is music to my ears. We would love more volunteering, and we would love to have Akshay Patra being able to reach out and make others have the opportunity to partake in this seva. The opportunities specifically we have are like this. In the United States, the singular portable work that we can do to support this cause is transfer funds and expertise back into India. Because we can't do anything like physical feeding from here to India. And the other thing we have in the US is we have a food recovery program that Akshay Patra does locally. And both of these things require volunteering in the assistance of raising funds, which is always the biggest job of any charitable organization. And the second is getting the word out with the outreach. And so organizing in our chapter frameworks that we have, they can volunteer, they can take leadership roles like being chapter chairs or executive team and so on and so forth. Along with, they can do their own innovative ideas. Like for instance, there is a kid in Atlanta, she decided to have a Bollywood night for the purpose of bringing people together, raising awareness, and at the same time raising funds for Akshay Patra. So if a child can do it as a volunteer in that simple way, anybody can do it. I'll tell you about a company. There was a private equity company back in the out in the West Coast, and they decided that all their employees wanted to volunteer for Akshay Patra while they are sitting all over the world. How do you do it? So what they did was they wrote cards for these kids in the school. So they did 1 hour virtual campaign of about 500 employees connected across the globe, and they all wrote cards, and we delivered it to the kids. So, sky's the limit of volunteering and what people can do. But from a purposefulness point of view, the two things that they can do is outreach and raise money.
So we can proudly say today, we took small part of Akshayapatra today by spreading word.
Yes.
We hope like it will reach
Srinta
out to
and
most
Maitri,
people.
I have to be very thankful. If your channel produces $1 extra to feed a child, and by the way, we take only $20 to feed a child for a year.
Oh.
So it's within reach to sponsor a child for a year of everybody in America. And so if we can get one more donor and one more volunteer, God bless.
So Navin Garu, to start something is easier, but to be consistent is the challenging part. So for you, what makes you to be consistent in Akshayapatra?
I'll give two-part answer. One is, me as an individual, but that's irrelevant. We as an organization, I think, is more meaningful. We have to be consistent to the extent that every day, every school, every child, the meal we serve has to be of the highest quality, nutritious, and tasteful. And to do that is what requires, at large scale, a lot of the elements, which is called the process engineering, the clear inculcated values of an organization, the commitment of the staff, and it's built from ground up. And that is what Akshayapatra has achieved. For over the last 25 years, if there is one big thing that distinguishes us, we talk about kitchens. Anybody can have a kitchen, but ensuring that the meal that comes out of the kitchen is of the highest quality day in, day out, and built from scratch requires excellence in design, in follow through, in operational control. And that's why, it may sound funny, I'm talking of terms which, technical guys do. We are ISO certified in our kitchens. You need that kind of engineering. And that's the beauty of Akshayapatra, that all the people who are leading our kitchens, they are coming from engineering backgrounds.
So actually, when we hear of these organizations, or some small organizations which give free meals to somebody or some schools, generally the problem is the quality. But when you say the quality is maintained, and it's not just one meal, it's every single meal,
We have
every single
served
day.
4 billion meals, since starting. And guess what? This year, we will reach 5th billion meal.
Wow.
Congratulations.
So that tells you the scale. Right. And I think your question is very germane, that, there are a lot of people who do seva. Right. 4 people come together, they'll make some food, they'll cook something and distribute it out with all the goodness of the heart.
Correct.
But you can't do social transformation with that kind of an activity. Yes. For instance, I'll give you another example. We've been serving this over 24 years. We have never had food poisoning incident. You go to even a fancy hotel, sometimes in a party, you'll have food poisoning.
That's true.
Yes, maintaining consistency even in, as you said, in a restaurant, it's a big challenge.
So, because there is another secret to this, we do not reheat or cool or store the meal. We cook it fresh and serve it fresh.
Yeah, I think it's not about who is monitoring us, whether we're doing it right or wrong, if somebody is watching us. It is within you. Every single person that works for this organization has to have it inbuilt in them that it is my own child that is eating. It's not somebody else.
You said my part of the answer. So thank you, Maitri, because that's the key. We have the lowest, employee turnover in Akshayapatra, India. These things are unheard of in organizations because they all come from the seva bhav and the commitment to the cause. And that's what makes that quality gel day in, day out. We can do the fabrication of these kitchens and processes and documentation and quality controls and checks. Yeah. But unless the spirit is embedded in the people, you cannot deliver it.
Definitely. Thank you so much. So, వింటున్నారు కదా కాఫీ కబుర్లు వ్యూవర్స్ అందరూ కూడా, మీరు ఇండియాలో ఉన్న యుఎస్లో ఉన్న లొకేషన్ అనేది డజంట్ మ్యాటర్ ఎట్ ఆల్. మీరు ఎక్కడున్నా సరే మీకు ఇవ్వాలి అనే ఒక ఆలోచన వస్తే దానికి సొల్యూషన్ ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది. అండ్ అక్షయపాత్ర మీ కాంటాక్ట్ చేయడానికి కూడా అక్షయపాత్ర వెబ్సైట్ చాలా చాలా కన్వీనియంట్గా ఉంది. అండ్ మీరు ఫిజికల్గా అయినా లేకపోతే డబ్బు రూపేనా ఏదైనా సరే మీరు ఇవ్వాలి అని అనుకుంటే తప్పకుండా రీచ్ అవుట్ టు అక్షయపాత్ర. అండ్ యాజ్ Spurita and myself, we want to, I did not even ask her, I'm just saying it on the spot. We definitely will plan something on Coffee Kaburlu. We will plan a program where we can bring some people and volunteer, at least a little portion from our side. Definitely we'll contribute to Akshayapatra.
I think my request would be, firstly, you already are doing it, so God bless. Second, you live in Dallas, come join our events in Dallas. There is a chapter organization here. I'll connect you with them. And last but not the least, I think what you will do through your channel is going to be a lot more powerful than anybody can do. So grateful for that.
Thank you so much. We are ever grateful to you for, first of all, for being here, and secondly, sharing so much of information with us. And we look forward to be associated with Akshayapatra, and whatever minimum or maximum that we can do from Dallas and through Coffee Kaburlu.
Through Coffee Kaburlu, not just in Dallas. Yes. Coffee Kaburlu has reached in India too. So indaka Maitri cheppinattu ivvadam annadi there is no limit. There is no boundary, minimum or maximum. Ivvali anna manasu mukhyam. So we are hoping ఆ థాట్ మీ మనసుల్లో కొంచెం అయినా తీసుకొచ్చామని అనుకుంటున్నాం ఈ ఎపిసోడ్ ద్వారా.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ నవీన్ గారు.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ నవీన్ గారు.
So Navin garu, we have this small tradition of guest signing on the coffee cup, so we would like to do the honors.
And someday we'll have a cup of coffee out of the cup.
Definitely.
There you go, dears.
Thank you
so much.
Do you have anything to say about Coffee Kaburlu?
I wish I could speak in a little bit of a Telugu, but I don't know too many words. So what I would say is, you guys are just amazing. Keep up the good work, and God bless you.
Thank you so much.